voting power, because now representation for black voters, representation for minorities in Congress it now has a higher threshold. Before, if you were able to show that the outcomes of representation disproportionately affected minorities, then you had to redraw the map. You know, the courts would say that you can't do that. You have to redraw the map to make sure that black people are represented, because this map doesn't show that. Right now, what's going on is that rule is thrown out now. Now you have to show actual intent, which is way harder to prove, because I can redraw a map to make sure that, you know, a certain group of people aren't represented, right, or have much less representation. But if I do it under the auspice of, oh, I was just doing under partisanship, then I have plausible deniability. So that's what's going on with this recent Scotus decision. It essentially is Jim Crow 2.0, because black political power is extremely diluted. And we gotta talk about it. Yeah, I mean, if someone wants to talk about it, disagrees with what I have on the board, and thinks that this will not affect black voting power, please come up and tell me why you think so, because I think it definitely does. I think it definitely does. All right, I'm going to start my call-in line in just a second. I'm just waiting for people to join up here on the TikTok. Just making sure people join up here on the TikTok. I do see y'all joining in. I do appreciate y'all. And we are definitely going to be talking about, hey, how's it going, Chloe? How's it going? We're definitely going to be talking about what just happened. You know what I mean? Definitely going to talk about what just happened, because it's extremely important. And I think more people need to know what's going on. Always pay attention, y'all. Now, of course, this is about the nationals, right? In your local elections, you should still vote in your local elections, definitely. Still pay attention to your local elections. Pay attention to your state representatives. All of these are extremely important. You should always pay attention to your state representatives, your local elections, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? Always pay attention to those as well. But the fact that this will basically dilute black voting power is a huge concern. So it's definitely something that we need to talk about. There's something that we need to talk about. And if you think you give me a good reason to believe in a God, or you can tell me why should I believe in a God, go ahead and come on up as well. Chloe, appreciate you being here. Appreciate all the shares, Chloe. Y'all make sure to follow Chloe. Yeah, make sure to follow her. She's the one sharing out the live right now. She's the one that's in the comments right now, sharing out the live. Yeah, make sure to follow her. And yeah, if you would like to discuss number one or number two, go ahead and definitely come on up, and we could definitely discuss that. What's going on over there over on my let me make sure that my sound is on. Okay, yeah, sound is definitely on. All right, so cool, sound is on. Yeah, I was making sure my sound is on. Someone put question marks in my they put question marks over there, so. All right, so over on my YouTube, for Jose, we're talking about these two topics tonight. If you think you can give me a good reason to believe in a God, or why should I believe in a God, and also the Scotus decision. These are things we should definitely talk about. Let me take a look over at my Deconstruction Junction chat in a second. All right, so what happened over at the Supreme Court? Essentially, what happened at the Supreme Court is that it was basically a section on Section 2 or Article 2 of the Voting Rights Act. Essentially, what that said is that if your map disproportionately affects minorities, gives them less representation, you had to redraw the map. It didn't matter what your intent was. The fact that the outcome disproportionately negatively affects them. So you have to redraw the map. Right now, what the Scotus decided is that the outcome rule doesn't matter anymore. Now you have to show actual intent. You have to prove essentially not that the outcome was racially biased, but that they drew the map that way in order to be racially biased. The problem with that is that party and race are kind of aligned, right? Like most black people vote a certain way. So all they have to do when they redraw the maps is to say that we weren't targeting a race, we're just targeting the party. And that gives them plausible deniability. To redraw the map and give less black representation. Yeah, I mean, so what that does is basically that very much dilutes black voting power, and of course, all throughout the South. This is on top of other decisions that they made. There was a decision that they made for federal clearance, for example. Federal clearance meant that if you're going to change the voting laws in your state, you have to get clearance from the federal government, which is why in Georgia and North Carolina, a lot of states in the South, you see them, either shutting down polling places, moving polling places, restricting the hours you can to vote, things like that. Before, you had to get federal clearance for you to do that. And the reason why that is because of the Voting Rights Act. We knew in the Jim Crow South, they would do all these things in order to discourage black people from voting. You know what I mean? Without that rule, now they can just, basically shut down a voting place like a day before elections, essentially. You know what I mean? So you get a whole bunch of black folks from a community going to vote for a certain candidate, and then they found out that their polling station changed a week ago and weren't given notice until a day ago. You see what I'm saying? So this is on top of all that. This is what basically dilutes the black voting power, and that's basically Jim Crow 2.0. If you don't have any representation, it's harder for you to have a voice in your own government. You see what I mean? Yeah, Himothy. Yeah, guys, I do read the comments over on YouTube sometimes. Give me 1 second, all right? Give me 1 second. I just need to open up the call-in line, and you guys can go ahead and call in a moment. All right. There we go. I appreciate the shares, y'all. Wifey is in the chat. Thank you so much, baby, for supporting the live. Y'all go ahead and keep sharing it. All right, so the call-in line is now on the board. So Himothy, if you would like to call in, go ahead and call in, please. The call-in line is now on the board, 786-530-5941.
I can't hear it at all.
Hello.
Yeah, can I get your name, age, and what did you want to talk about?
I'm 22.
No, you're not. All right, so make sure that you are of age when you call up, please. Make sure you are of age when you call up. All right, Truth Seeker, let's go ahead and invite you up. Yeah, don't just chat in the comments. Actually, have the discussion. Go ahead and come on up. If you disagree with me, that's fine. But we can definitely have that discussion. The number is on the board if you would like to call in, 786-530-5941. Oh, okay. So for the person that says that the SCOTUS gave Oklahoma to Native Americans, you don't understand what that law says, actually.
From.
Pete.
How's it going, Pete? Can I get your age, please? And what did you want to talk about?
I'm 32.
All right. What did you want to talk about?
Oh, my asshole hurts so bad.
All right. Go ahead and let's see. We got someone else.
All from.
Timothy.
How's it going, Timothy? Can I get your age and what did you want to talk about?
I'm 23 and I want to talk about believing in God.
All right, sure. Let's go ahead and put some time on the board. Yeah, I don't have a good reason to believe in a God. Why do you think I should believe in a God?
Well, I don't think anybody ever has a really good reason for believing in God. I don't see the issue with believing in something when it won't hurt you at all for believing.
I mean, yeah, you can say that. You can say it doesn't hurt me at all, but we do see the societal effects of this belief, especially when it gets mixed in with the government or education and stuff like that, right? So if it was something private, then sure, like that doesn't matter. But once it starts to get mixed into the public sphere, then it's pretty damaging, isn't it?
You're right, sir. And I think that it should never be. I think religion and schooling and other stuff like that should always be separate, anyways.
Yeah. So I think it should be. I think they should be separate.
But what I was trying to say is that I don't think it negatively impacts somebody's life to believe in something.
That depends. That really depends. And the reason why I say that is because it depends on. Hold on, person on my TikTok. So I the reason why I said really depends on what you say is because it depends on what they're being raised in, right? Like if they're being raised in a very, very high control group, it's going to negatively affect them. And even if not, a lot of times people like become incredulous. They accept things without any evidence, which is a lot of times what the God belief is. Now, of course, you can have like philosophical, reasoning around it and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, there's really no type of empirical evidence for this thing, right? And what I've seen before is that the moment you start to accept one thing without empirical evidence, you start accepting a lot of other things without empirical evidence either. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I can definitely see that. But you also got to understand, religion's been a thing since we've been around.
Of course.
We've never had to have proof to believe in something.
Yeah, of course.
It's never necessarily been about. I understand some people want proof, and some people see it like if something good happens in their life, they see that as proof. But proof is subjective.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, it
is. Well, not necessarily. And I would say empirical proof is not subjective. Now, there is some evidence that is subjective, like personal testimony. Matt Dillahunty said this before. Personal testimony is evidence to the person, but it's hearsay to everybody else. You see what I mean? Like I can't show you my testimony. If I told you that I saw, Shango from the Yoruba religion, the thunder god of the West Africans, like sure, you may believe that I saw that, but are you going to actually believe that? Like, nah. Yeah, I mean, so it's like it's hearsay to everybody else. It's not really evidence based. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's definitely true. You can't. It's not like you can see God and prove that He's there. It's just a feeling people have, I guess. You'd say.
Yeah, sure. I don't like. I get that, right? There are people who have like feelings of it, right? Me, what I always say is that I don't doubt anyone's experience or anyone's feelings. What I do doubt is what you're attributing it to. Are you actually because there could be natural explanations for those feelings. There could be natural explanations for those experiences. It doesn't necessarily have
like
to
when
be.
you get like a boner in the toilet and then like your balls and dick splash against it.
I didn't want to come on here trying to prove something. I didn't want to try to
No, that's fine. Now we can always talk.
Or nothing like that. I just respect that you're not rude like a lot of people on live streams are when they talk about this kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't like to get rude unless they start to get rude to me. Then I'm gonna get at them. Like yesterday was at a bit of a crash out moment. That's only because the person dehumanized me. Yeah, I mean, like when it comes to stuff like that, then it's a problem. I would say that's also the other negative effect that I've seen when people are they dehumanize people who don't believe the same way they do, and that goes for everybody. I don't go for dehumanization on anything, on any belief. Yeah, I mean, if you're not a believer, you shouldn't dehumanize Christians or Muslims. If you're a Christian or Muslim, you shouldn't dehumanize anybody else. But of course, us being in the mostly Christian West, is mostly Christians that I see, dehumanizing others in this conversation. See what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Christians are some of the most judging people ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they can be.
Thank you for the discussion. I'm gonna get off here. You have a good day.
Not a problem. You have a good one. All right, guys. Once again, I do appreciate anybody who would like to come up. I'm going to go ahead and call these numbers back. I'm going to call back.
Sorry, you can't leave a message because the.
Okay. Well, they just called in and they hung up. Or I guess they couldn't stay on the line. Let's go ahead and try them again.
I'm sorry, you can't leave a.
Not a problem. All right, y'all. So number is on the board. 786-530-5941. I appreciate you for having a discussion and calling in. If you're watching over on the Deconstruction Junction, once again, I appreciate you there for watching me over on Deconstruction Junction. If you watch me over on Volsy Thoughts, I appreciate you for watching me there. My accent, well, it's kind of funny because I'm from Florida, right? So whenever I down here in Florida, they say I sound like I'm from up north, but when I go up north, they say I sound like I'm from Florida. It's I don't know. It's weird. My accent is pretty weird. But yeah, guys. If you're over on TikTok, please keep liking the live. Hit those likes, please. Share this out. Let's have the discussion. Yesterday. Oh, I sound like an islander. My parents are from Haiti. That's why. That's why I sound like an islander. My parents are from Haiti. Yesterday, I had God Logic up here, but for some reason, God Logic ended up leaving, and I don't know why. But yeah, phone number is on the board, 786-530-5941, if you would like to call in and have the discussion. I do see a lot of comments over on the Deconstruction Junction. Yeah, I can't keep up with all the comments over there, y'all. I can't keep up with all of them. So y'all just have to go ahead and call in if you'd like to discuss what I have on the board. There was somebody before somebody else called that said that the Scotus gave half of Oklahoma to Native Americans. What it's considered is that's Native American land for federal crimes. For federal crimes, that's Native American land. That's what that decision said. Oklahoma, the United States, still owes that land, and that has nothing to do with the decision that SCOTUS made today. So I'm not sure why that person bought that up, but it had nothing to do with what we're talking about. Like absolutely nothing. But hit that like, y'all. Hit that like. I do appreciate y'all being here. This might be a slower night since well, for some reason it's just a slower night, but we're gonna go ahead and wait around for anyone who would like to have the discussion to come up. And if you're over on, like I said, the Deconstruction Junction, if you're over on Volsy Thoughts, if you're over on Black Atheist Coalition, if you're over on Twitch as well, you can go ahead and still call in, and I definitely appreciate you. All right, y'all. So when it comes to the recent SCOTUS decision, it's just a long line and weakening the Voting Rights Act. And essentially and we all kind of know what Jim Crow was. You know what I mean? Black people were second-class citizens. Now, you can't make minorities second-class citizens de jure, right? You can't make it by law, but you can make them second-class citizens de facto. You know what I mean? If you make sure that they don't have voting representation, if you limit their scope in the economy and the wider society, you can de facto make these people second-class citizens, which is what Black people have been saying for a while. When you look at not just the criminal justice system, but when you look at real estate, when you look at the education system, when you look at media and what's the thing called? I was going to call again media and real estate, education, finance. All these things carry discrimination around them. All these carry social discrimination. So it's not any law that says that a Black person is now a second-class citizen. What's happening is that it makes it de facto. That's what's going on. All right, it's making Black folks de facto second-class citizens. And once again, y'all, we're just gonna go ahead and wait here for some folks. Go ahead and hit that like. I see Satan join. How's it going, Satan? Appreciate you being here, Satan. Dougal, I appreciate the heart. Definitely appreciate the heart. I may hit a quick reset. I may do that. Okay. How did the Irish come here, be discriminated against, and be successful? You should read a book, How the Irish Became White. Essentially, what happened with the Irish is that they kind of accepted the racial hierarchy in America. And there's actually documented cases of that. If you look at the draft riots of the 1860s, the draft riots are basically the Irish people kind of like, not even kind of, basically embracing the white supremacy of the country at that time. And they immediately attacked Black people. They also adopted discriminatory attitudes towards Black people and housing and employment as well, like all of that. So pick up that book, How the Irish Became White. It kind of details what happened there, because you have to remember something. When it comes to things like redlining, when it comes to things like the GI Bill, when it comes to things like education and housing, a lot of these programs that FDR started, they excluded Black people, like specifically. They specifically excluded Black people, but it didn't specifically exclude Irish or Italians. Italians were able to get those low cost mortgages. They were able to engage in the GI Bill, both Irish and Italians. Black people were not. Black people were absolutely not. So when people ask us questions, how did Irish and Italians get discriminated against and still succeed? Government policy did not target them. It targeted Black people. And this is all documented history. I'm not making any of this shit up. Look up how the highway system was built. The highway system was built literally through Black neighborhoods, like on purpose. The person who built the highway system literally said, we're going to build it through Black neighborhoods. And it was allowed to happen. You know what I'm saying? So like, these are things that target people to deliberately make them poor. That's what happens. This didn't happen to Irish and Italians. All right, y'all. Once again, appreciate y'all for being here. Once again, y'all, appreciate y'all for being here. Once again, y'all, appreciate y'all for being here. Once again, the phone number is there, 786-530-5941. I might hit a quick reset though, because it's been a little slow getting some guests. If you'd like to talk about what I have on the board, once again the phone number is on the board, and we can have a talk. We can have that discussion. All right. We can talk. We can have that discussion. Appreciate y'all for being here. Oh, let me put the number in the chat. All right. So over on a decon junction, I'm gonna put the number in the chat. Okay. All right. So over the decon junction, I'll put the number in the chat so you guys can see it and call in if you, for some reason, can't see the board. And thank you all for watching here on YouTube, on Twitch. Hey, Ivy, I see that you're talking in the comments. You should go ahead and come on up. You should go ahead and well, not come on up, but call in, and we can discuss further if you'd like to. Go ahead and call in. We could discuss further. Who's there? I think I just saw Amina come into the house. Hey, Amina. Amina's in the house, y'all. Amina's in the house, y'all. Appreciate you so much, Amina. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Amina, for being here. Y'all go ahead and tap on that screen. What we're doing now, we're just waiting for some folks to call in. I'm going to probably hit a reset over here on TikTok. Over here on TikTok, I might hit a reset. Anima, there we go. Or Anima. I'm not sure how to say it. I've been saying Amina for this entire time. My bad. But I might hit a Anima. That's what is it? Okay, Anima. Okay, Anima. So my bad. But yeah, over here on TikTok, I'm gonna give it a few minutes and then I'm gonna hit a quick reset, and then I'm keep the live going. But once again, y'all, if you'd like to talk about what I have on the board, go ahead and call on in. If you'd like to know why the Scotus decision just recently essentially creates Jim Crow 2.0, definitely give a call in, and then we can talk about it as well. Why do people keep calling me Anton, bro? I know exactly what y'all talking about whenever y'all call me Anton. I do not look like that guy. All right, I'm way handsomer. It's not even a fucking word, but still, I'm way handsomer. All right. All right. So over on TikTok, y'all, I think I'm gonna hit the reset button. So y'all come back and over here on TikTok. Yeah, Antoine. Why I keep saying I look like bruh, man? I do not look like bruh. I'm handsomer than that guy. I know that. I know I look better than that nigga. Yeah, y'all gotta give me that one. I know I look better than that nigga, for real. But yeah, I think I'm gonna give it probably 1 or 2 more minutes, and I'm gonna go ahead and hit a reset for us to try to get some people in here. So Anima and Chloe, y'all come back in a few moments, cause I'm gonna hit a reset in about 1 or 2 minutes if I don't get any more guests. Y'all going in over on the deconstruction junction. I like it. I like it over on deconstruction junction. I really like it. All right, guys. So quick reset. I'm gonna hit a quick reset over here on TikTok, and I'll be right back. All right, guys. Over on the YouTube, y'all gonna see the screen go back to my profile on TikTok, but stay here. We're gonna go ahead and hit a quick reset, and we'll be right back. All right. Oh wait, we got a guess. Oh, it's Anima. Bring Anima up real quick. Oh, okay. Oh, that's probably a mistake. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna hit a quick reset over here on TikTok. Over on YouTube, y'all gonna see the live go back to my profile on TikTok, but just stay for me, and we're gonna go ahead and have a have a redo, okay? But stay. Okay. All right, Charles. All right, Charles, we back. All right, y'all, we are back. I just have to hit a quick reset. All right, I just had a quick reset. So over on the YouTube, y'all should see me back. I just had a quick reset real quick because we weren't getting guests over on the TikTok. Usually when that happens, that means that it's not sending it out. So we have to go ahead and hit a quick reset, make sure that it got sent out to folks, and we're gonna go ahead and try to have this discussion. All right. The phone number is still on the board if you'd like to call in. The phone number is still on the board if you'd like to call in. And yeah, we did get a few more people to drop on in. I do appreciate that. All right, y'all. So once again, if you would like to talk about what I have on the board, go ahead and hit that guest request or call into the number on the board, 786-530-5941. Go ahead and hit those likes, y'all. Hit those likes. Okay, we got a good one in the Deconstruction Junction chat. Disciple of the Lord. Go ahead and call in. Because I definitely want to talk about that conspiracy theory of the Red Sea chariots, which is proven to be bullshit. All right, y'all. So y'all see the topic on the board, the Scotus decision, and why should I believe in a God? I appreciate anybody who would like to come in and talk about it. Y'all go ahead and hit that guest request button. Now, rules of my live: if you say something in the chat and it seems like you either disagree or you insult me or any of that stuff, I'm just gonna invite you up, because it's better to just go ahead and talk, right? And tell me what your opinion is and actually have that discussion instead of crashing out in any comments. Godless Disciple over on the Deconstruction Junction, go ahead and call in. Phone number is right here, 786-530-5941. Do appreciate everybody who is here, everybody who wants to talk, everybody who wants to have a discussion. Hey, what the hell was that? Christ almighty. All right, y'all. So over here on my goodness, my wife is weird, y'all. My wife's a weirdo. All right, y'all. So anyone over on the TikTok, y'all go ahead and call in, please. 786-530-5941. You can call in over on the YouTube as well. You can talk about number one or number two. I do appreciate y'all. Y'all go ahead and share this out. Y'all definitely go ahead and share this out, and we can have that discussion. Either number one or number two. This is one of those slow nights, probably because a lot of people are live right now, but it's one of those slow nights. I hope we can go ahead and get some guests up here. So once again, y'all, the Jim Crow decision, the Scotus decision, is essentially Jim Crow 2.0.
Call from
Alvin.
Hey, Alvin, how's it going? Can I get your age and what did you want to talk about?
32, and so the blacks built everything except Africa.
Oh, so you just called in to be racist?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and try to get some serious callers. Once again, 786-530-5941. Over here on the TikTok, you can just go ahead and click on that guest request, and we'll definitely get some conversations going. I never understood why people just call in to be racist. Like, it's what's the point of that? Like, what is your motivation for y'all to call in to explicitly to be hateful and not actually talk and not actually have a discussion? Like, you can go to your little 4chan and Reddit groups and Discords and spew all your racism there. This is a call-in show for actual discussion, for people who want to speak, for people who want to actually talk about these type of topics and critically think and stuff like that. This is what these are for. If you're just gonna call in to say how much you hate black people, I could give a shit, bro. Like, what's the point of that? But all right, y'all. I see folks coming in over on the TikTok, y'all. Once again, I appreciate you watching me on TikTok. If you watch me on Twitch, I appreciate you there as well. Thank you so much. If you watch me over on the Black Atheist Coalition, or if you're watching me over on the Volsy Thoughts channel, I appreciate you there as well. And of course, if you're watching me over on the Deconstruction Junction, appreciate you there as well. Hey, Amanda 7676, go ahead and call in if you think Jesus is the only way. The number is right up there. I agree, Leon. They always come up here and crash out. So they always come here and immediately crash out. It's insane. But yeah, Amanda over on the Deconstruction Junction, go ahead and call in. Remember to hit that like button, y'all. Hit that subscribe button. How's it going, Phoenix? Thank you so much for the gifts, Phoenix. So everybody who's coming into the live now, once again, tap on that screen. And if you want to talk about number one or number two, go ahead and hit that request button, and we could definitely talk about number one or number two. I like to have these discussions. Let's have these discussions. And while we're waiting, we can see what's going on the internet nowadays. Hey, Alex, thank you so much. Appreciate you, Alex. Appreciate the repost, Alex. Thank you so much. Yeah, if I see tonight goes like really, really slowly, we're just not getting guests, I'm going to go ahead and just, we'll probably come back tomorrow. All right, y'all, but I appreciate the likes. I appreciate y'all joining in. 50 Tyson. I haven't seen that in such a long time. How's it going, Tyson? Can I get your age, please? And what did you want to talk about?
28, and I wanted to talk about your prompt up there.
Okay, what's number one or number two?
Number one.
All right, sure. Yeah, I think the Scotus decision is Jim Crow 2.0 essentially. Do you disagree?
Yeah, I disagree.
Why?
Because I don't understand how you're saying that a decision against race-based gerrymandering is Jim Crow 2.0. Do you want race-based gerrymandering?
But the decision wasn't against race-based gerrymandering. It was
That's
basically
literally what it was. Are we
but it
talking
was
about
literally-
Louisiana
But
versus?
it was basically it was.
Are we talking about the case in Louisiana?
Yes. But the thing is, yeah, race-based gerrymandering is already illegal.
So-
what was going on?
Exactly.
What was going on?
Exactly.
Hold on, Tyson. Slow
Exactly.
down, Tyson. Are you gonna have a discussion or not?
Well, you just proved my point. Thank you.
No, I didn't.
You said race-based gerrymandering is illegal. That's why the Supreme Court struck it down.
Right.
Did you read the Supreme Court decision?
I read the Supreme Court decision. What
So then you
what
know
it was
that
about
they said.
is
so
I
then you
know
that the
what
Supreme
they
Court
said.
that
I
there was
know what they
race-based
said.
gerrymandering.
I know what they said. They were wrong. Louisiana did not have race-based
They were
gerrymandering. That's not
wrong.
what happened.
Okay,
They were
so can
wrong.
I ask you? Okay, so the Supreme Court was wrong, and who do you think is the final determiner of constitutional questions and constitutionality of laws and other things?
It is the
Who is that
Supreme.
anyway?
It is of course the Supreme Court.
Oh,
But the
it's the
Supreme Court, the Supreme
Oh.
Court can get
So how
things
could they be wrong?
because the Supreme Court can get things wrong all the
You
time.
just said
Have you
they're
ever
the
heard?
final
Have
interpreter
you ever
of the
heard?
Constitution.
And they can still
If
be
the
wrong.
Supreme Court is the
Hey
final
Tyson,
interpreter of the
hey Tyson,
Constitution,
I'm gonna need you to stop
how could
crashing
they
out.
be wrong?
I'm gonna need you to stop crashing out and actually listen for a second.
So the Supreme Court can make an unconstitutional.
Yes, the Supreme Court
they
can
could?
make an
Wow.
unconstitutional and
Who
wrong
tells them
decision.
it's unconstitutional?
Hey,
could tell them it's
my guy.
Just
Slow
asking you a
down,
question.
slow down.
Just the question, brother.
All right, man. You're not here to discuss. Like I'm not gonna do that. You're actually not here to discuss. No, I'm not bringing you back up. You're actually not here to discuss. Nope. I actually want people who actually want to have a discussion, not just talk over anybody. All right, you're not here to colonize the discussion. You're not here to colonize the discussion. The Supreme Court can make wrong decisions. Dred Scott, y'all. Hello. Plessy versus Ferguson. Hello. The Supreme Court can make wrong decisions. Christ Almighty. This is not fucking hard. Hey, appreciate the Trust But Verified raid. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the Trust But Verified raid. Yeah, that guy was clearly a racist. But yeah, so the Supreme Court can always make wrong decisions, all right? And only really they can tell themselves that they were wrong, really. Because they're the final decision. Appreciate the Trust But Verified raid. To surely be hated, it takes a Christian love in your life if you want to receive hate and judgment. Like, yeah, there's no hate like Christian love. There's no hate like Christian love. All right, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and wait for more people to come in. We're gonna wait for another caller. Just gonna wait for another caller. Gonna wait for more people to come in. I appreciate y'all for being here. Hey, Chloe, thank you so much for sharing out the live one more time. Thank you so much, Chloe, for sharing out the live one more time. Okay. Cool. Thank you so much, Chloe, for sharing out the live one more time. I appreciate that. Appreciate that for sharing out the live. Thank you so much, Chloe, for sharing out the live. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. I'm gonna see if I can find the actual decision. Well, not decision, the opinion, because I was reading it the other day. Yeah, Tyson. No, bro. You don't want to actually have a discussion. So I'm not gonna talk to you. I want people who actually want to talk, like, and actually have a discussion. That's what I want to do. You're not here to do that. So there's no point of you coming up. All right. There you go. The case concerned whether Louisiana's new congressional map is an unconstitutional racial gerrymander. In 2022, after the state redrew the congressional districts, a federal judge held that 2022 map likely violated the Second to the Voter Right Act because it did not include an additional majority black district. But when the state drew a new map that contained such a district, the new map was challenged as racial gerrymander. A 3-judge court held that SB 8 violated the equal protection of the Fourth Constitution, and the state appealed to this court. The parties originally briefed the argument, yada yada yada. These things are typically long. Yeah, it's typically very, very long. But we're gonna go ahead and wait for more calls to come in. If no more callers come in, I'll just go ahead and end the live for tonight, and we'll talk some other time. How's it going, Akel? Appreciate you, Akel. All right, y'all. So what this does is essentially what they do is that they raise the bar for like basically disparate racial outcome from outcomes to proving actual intent, which is extremely difficult to do. An example of this that I can give is basically how you can have like plausible deniability of a business not hiring like black folks, right? You can simply do that by saying that they weren't a fit or they don't fit the culture. You're not outright saying that it's because that they're black. You're simply giving another reason for it, which is what a lot of this does. It dilutes a lot of that black voting power.
Call from.
Hey, 720, how's it going? Can I get your name, age, and what did you want to talk about?
Pretty good. Brian, 39, and I like topic number 1. I'm pretty happy about it.
All right, sure. Topic not number 1. I think that's pretty much Jim Crow 2.0. Do you disagree?
I do disagree. I think it's treating, well, I think it's treating people equally, actually. And I think disregarding race is the right way. I think it's the right path. I think as a country, we've gone down a path of tribalism, white, black, Hispanic, and I don't think it's right. Technically, you're not black. You've got brown skin, even though you might say you're black. And
I'm black.
My skin's not white.
Hold on. I'm black. But let's say let me do this again. Can I get your your name again, please?
You're not black like a chalkboard.
I'm black. Can I get your name again, please?
I don't think you understand what I'm saying.
I'm black. Can I get your name again, please?
Brian.
All right, Brian. All right. So Brian.
No, but like the color black.
I don't care.
I'm talking about the color black.
I don't care.
The absence of color.
I don't care, Brian. So when it comes to this,
if you don't care, then I don't want to talk to you.
All right, cool. All right, so we're actually gonna talk to someone who actually wants to have the discussion. All right, when I told you I'm black, I'm black. I don't care what you think about, but technically, We're not doing that bullshit up here. We're not doing the but technically bullshit up here. Aesthetics, how's it going, aesthetics? Are you at least 18? And what did you want to talk about?
Yes, I am. I was just reading what's in the what is the topic? If I may ask.
The two ones on the board, you see them?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's topic.
Why should I believe in God? In a God?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Technically, because I was raised in a church my whole life, and as I got older, I start to do studies for myself and realize that it's a myth. Everything I've been taught is a lie, technically. So, yeah. So yeah, I don't believe there's a God. We was taught to believe something that don't exist. So, yeah.
Awesome. How about number one? What you think of the recent Scotus decision?
I'm sorry, say that again.
What do you think of the recent Supreme Court decision?
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't really keep up with the news and what's going on in that area.
Well, the recent Supreme Court decision, what it does is that Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, it basically stated that you need to show like if there's an outcome of a map that negatively affects minorities, you have to redraw the map, because it basically it shows that you are trying to lessen their influence or their representation if the outcome is negatively affects them. However, what they did is that they raised the threshold from outcome to intent. Basically, you have to prove absolutely that they're targeting you racially. You see what I'm saying? And that's a much harder thing to do, because Black people tend to vote a certain way with a certain party. So if they simply say that we redrew this map in order to target a party and not target a race, then they can get away with the redistricting and lower Black representation.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. I'm just hearing that now. But wow, that's wrong.
Right.
Absolutely wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But thanks for having me. I just want to come in and just touch briefly on that. So thanks for having me.
Sure, not a problem. Thank you so much. All right, guys. So basically what they did is that it argued race neutrality, right? And that it rejected the results test, essentially. So the results test was exactly what I said before. What does it result in? Let's see what happens when it results in this thing. And they said we have to reject that, and we have to look at did they intend to actually target this group of people, which is extremely hard to do, almost impossible, which is why there's plausible deniability. Like I said, they man, I'm trying to find the actual summary. Yeah, so it can try to be colorblind, but we know what the results are going to be. Like anytime they say colorblind, We know what the results are going to be. They're never truly colorblind. Yeah, basically what Leon said. If let's say you killed someone in a car wreck, and if you just argue that you didn't intend to do it, then you don't get any consequences. That's exactly what's happening here. Essentially what's happening here. You know what I mean? Because they say they want to go ahead and do it like race blind, but clearly when you gerrymander maps, they never do it race blindly. They said that we're gonna target a party, right? But they never actually target the party. But you know what? Like, this doesn't mean that there's no more hope. Like, we can't fight against it. It doesn't mean that at all. It doesn't mean that we can't fight against it. We just have to find another way to get our representation there. It's really it, especially at the local levels. We need to start fighting at the local levels again. So once they took away that district. Hey, how's it going, Slim? I'm all right. Today wasn't too bad. But yeah, what we would have to start doing is to start paying a lot more attention to the local levels, the local elections. And as far as them, diluting Black representation, that's going to be a harder hill to climb. That's going to be a very, very hard hill to climb. You know what I mean? There's ways around it. There's definitely ways around it. Basically, like one of the main ways right now is to get enough votes to swing the other way. I mean, get enough votes to swing the other way. Possibly start new parties. Hey, 50 Tyson, I told you already, I am not going to talk to you again. All right? Matter of fact, let me do this. I already told you I'm not talking to you again, bro. I already said that because you're actually not here to talk. You're just here to badger people, and I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that. All right? I'm here to actually have an actual, calm, simple discussion. I'm not here to yell, rant, and rave, which is what you wanted to do. Yeah, I agree. We can there is a like that's something that was said to do, right? To pack the courts. I think especially Democrats, because they're feckless, what they're afraid of is if they were to pack the court, then the Republicans will come in the next time and try to expand the court again. You see what I'm saying? So they're afraid of having that happen. So they rather just be kind of feckless and, just punks and let whatever happens in order to be because they're afraid of another thing happening. You know what I mean? Black Atheist from Texas. What up, Anthony? Yo, Anthony, the Black Atheist from Texas. Follow my TikTok, and then I'll send you a link to the upcoming event that's going down in Florida. All right, it's going down in June. All right, thank you for making this easy for me, Tyson. And Tyson is gone. It's going down in Central Florida, J-Wise. It's going on in Central Florida. That's where I live. Now, next year, I'm gonna try to have that event happen in Texas. All right. Next year, I'm trying to have that event happen in Texas. But this year is gonna go down in Florida. I think we are in the same city. I'm in the city with Icon Park. You should know what that is if you're in the same city. Yeah, so Anthony over on the Black Atheist Coalition, my TikTok is Volsy Thoughts, the same one as here on YouTube. Go there, follow me, and take a look at the link in my bio. You'll be able to sign up for the event, basically. The link in my bio. All right, y'all. It's gonna be close to an hour. More about the event. Okay, yeah. So the event's basically a cookout, the Black Atheist, Agnostic, Skeptics, and Humanist Cookout, essentially. It's gonna be going down in June, second week of June, because the third week of June is Juneteenth and it's Father's Day. So I ain't taking people away from their kids. I ain't taking people away from Juneteenth. So the third week of June this year is Juneteenth and Father's Day. So this is gonna go down on the second week of June in Central Florida. All right, it's going to be for Black Atheists, Skeptics, and Humanists. We're gonna have a cookout. You know, that Friday we'll have a mixer. We'll go to a happy hour. That Saturday, all day is gonna be at the park. We're gonna have a cookout, and of course, we can hang out that night. And that Sunday, we're gonna hang out that night at the Airbnb. And that Sunday, we're gonna go ahead and have breakfast. All right, so I have a whole weekend planned out. That Friday night, you know, I think we're all over 21, so I can go ahead and probably get us a section somewhere at a club. Yeah, I mean, we could all put that bread together, get that section, and we all be out there. All right, I'm gonna probably get a sign that says Black Atheist Coalition, no God we trust. You know what I mean? That's gonna be my slogan. No God we trust. Resist, I appreciate you, Resist. But yeah, Masca, if you could go ahead and if you follow my my channel, you could, or my my profile here on TikTok, you'll be able to see the link. And on that link is basically a sign up sheet for the event. And I can add you to the group chat. We have some pretty cool people in the group chat. We have Black Atheist Rants in there. We have Serafina Simone in there. I'm trying to get Omnist. Omnist hasn't gone in there yet. I'm trying to get Omnist in there. So hopefully I get Omnist in there, Omnist Ron in there, and then we can it's gonna be lit, man. It's gonna be lit. I've been working hard on it. I'm hoping y'all could come out. But yeah, it's gonna be lit. I also give like basically an Airbnb where I tell people to stay at. I also have a no-go list because a lot of times when people come down to Florida, they're not sure where everything is. So I have a no-go list, meaning don't rent your Airbnb there because you're gonna be super far away from the park if you rent it there. Like Sanford, Kissimmee, you know, like Sanford, Kissimmee, Winter Haven. Those are like an hour away from where the event is. So I have a no-go list of saying, listen, don't rent your places there. But yeah, y'all could go ahead and sign up there if you are a Black Atheist, Agnostic, Skeptic, or Humanist, and we can go ahead and have a time. All right, y'all. So still appreciate y'all for being here. Just waiting for any more guests to come in. If I don't get another guest in probably like the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'm just gonna go ahead and end this live here. Yeah, if we don't get any more guests in the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'm just go ahead and end the live here. It's unfortunately a slow night. Maybe it'll be quicker tomorrow. I did do a quick reset, and the reset did have a lot of people joining in, but no one wanted to be a guest, I guess. Leon, I do appreciate that so much. Thank you so much for subscribing, Leon. All right, y'all. So just a few more minutes. And then we're gonna go ahead and end the live. Pretty much a slow night, which is all right. Sometimes slow nights happen. What's up, y'all? If y'all over on the Varsity Thoughts channel, what's going on? What's up? If you're over on the Deconstruction Junction, how's it going over there? If you're over on the Black Atheist Coalition, I appreciate you there as well. I might change the name of this channel. I think I'm gonna change the name of the channel to Bash. I think I'm gonna change the channel to Bash to align with the brand. But yeah, JYs and Masca, y'all are definitely invited to the cookout. I'm gonna see if I can get Omnis Roan to come to the cookout. And I also invited Durante Lamar. Durante Lamar, he hasn't told me if he can make it yet. He said he might be in New York City that weekend. So I'm gonna see if I can if he can come out. And next year, I'm gonna try to have it in either Georgia or Texas, because I want to collaborate with Black non-believers. If I can collaborate with Black non-believers, then yeah, that would be amazing, because they always have the Reason revival around that time. So next year I'm gonna try to basically collaborate with Black non-believers during their Reason revival and see how that goes. I mean, yeah, I agree. Electoral politics. I mean, here's what I would say. The best way for the left to rise in this country is going to be through elections, and that doesn't mean that we have to only pay attention, because there are local elections, right? There's school boards, there's sheriffs, there's judges. You know what I mean? All those are things that exist. And if we want our lives to get better, our material conditions, we have to be more in leadership. So I get that electoral politics ain't really it. But yeah, if we want to have some changes, because a lot of changes can happen in positions of leadership. So yeah, we can do mutual aid. But if we're not anywhere in power and they zone out your mutual aid, how did you just lost the way to help people? You see what I'm saying? So I understand because people get into politics, they get a bunch of funding, and they turn against their politicians. They go turn against their donors and their constituents. I do get that part, right? I get that part. Electoral politics is not really it, but it's a good way for us to retain and change things, not just on the local level, but the national level as well. You know what I mean? Yeah, I get that. Power in the hands of a few is never it. Yeah, I mean, we need to democratize our power. We need to democratize as much as possible, but at the end of the day, this is the material. This is the conditions that we live in, and we need to apply Marx or Lenin to our material conditions. We just have to. I mean, we're not in the same, which is how Mao came up with Maoism, because he didn't have the same conditions that Lenin had. Like China in that time didn't have the same conditions as Russia, so he had to come up with Maoism. You know what I mean? It has to be the same thing with us. Give me a second, y'all. My bad. We just have to what's this? Oh, okay. That's my aunt. I'll call my aunt later. That was my aunt. I'll call her later. But yeah, y'all, like at the end of the day, we have to apply Marx to our own material conditions, y'all. Yeah, I mean, all right, you guys. I think I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, y'all. I've been on for about an hour, and I might get out of here. Okay, we got one more person who responded. Hey, Bill Button, go ahead and come on up. Go ahead and call in. Go ahead and call in, and then we can talk. We can have that discussion before I get out of here. So Bill Button over in my YouTube, go ahead and call in so we can have that discussion. And once again, y'all, thank y'all so much for watching.
Call from
Andrew.
Andrew, how's it going? Can I get your age and what did you want to talk about?
I'm Andrew and I'm 20. Yeah, I want to talk about what you was just talking. Are you a socialist?
Yes.
So can you tell me how is like socialism good for America?
Yeah, because socialism would actually address the material conditions of our people and period, the citizenry, and it gives less power to corporations and more power to the workers. Basically, I think we should be in charge of where profits go.
So your thing is you want to cut out the CEO, the businessman, or whatever.
Correct. It should be decided by the workers. The workers should be earning the value of their work. Not it shouldn't go into the pockets of the few on the board.
Yeah, but if I'm a businessman and I come up with an idea and I put all the capital, into my business, and I built I get all the infrastructure, I build the business stuff. Why should the workers have it?
I mean, if you have a grocery store that you're running, and you hire like 5 cashiers, then yeah, it's gonna be a little bit different than if you have a Walmart, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, I'm saying yeah.
Right.
I'm not
so that's
saying
what I'm saying. There's going to be what I'm trying to say is there's going to be levels to it. Like, of course, someone who's like I said, like you start a grocery store and you have like 3-4 cashiers, then yeah, cool. Like something like that is going to be a little different than a major corporation like Amazon or Walmart. You see what I'm saying? Like those are going to be ran. There's going to be ran very, very differently. It is not saying that you're not going to have any decisions in your business. Of course, you're going to, if you are like people who do small businesses, you're still working, right? Even if you're not, you're like most people who own small businesses, even if they have like 7-8 stores, they're not just kicking their feet up and playing golf all day with the fat cats. They're actually still out there doing the administrative work, going out there getting contracts, going out there seeing what's the best investment for their business. That's still work. You know what I mean? So you're still a worker. But we're talking about the people who like don't work, who don't do shit, don't work at all. They basically show up because like the contract needs them to show up, and they get $70 million from stocks, and they play golf all day. You see what I'm saying? Those are who we're talking about that are not workers. See what I mean?
Yes. Okay. So like wait. So I know like in like Spain and Germany, for example, and Italy. It seems like the socialist policies that they have in for the workers is destroying Europe's economy.
Like what?
Like they have like crazy stuff. Like they have like very long vacations. They also have a lot of time off. They also have massive maternity leave.
These are all
they
good
have
things.
To pay. But the problem is that if you look at the unemployment rate in Spain, it's at 10.63%. Nobody wants to hire because the employment benefits that these politicians promise the workers are too expensive.
Is that what the research says? That the research says that they don't want to hire anybody because of the benefits? Is that what it says?
That's one of the reasons. Yeah, like I talked to I was watching a show, a podcast of this guy. He's an employer in Spain. And he talks about it's so expensive to hire people. The government makes it so expensive to hire people that he don't want to hire anybody. It's the same thing that's happening in Italy and Germany too. They have sky high unemployment rates.
Yeah, the unemployment rate in Italy is 10%. But the thing is, if they're not hiring simply because it's expensive, aren't they shooting themselves in the foot? Because if you don't hire anybody, no money moves in the economy. So you're shooting yourself in the foot.
They're hiring people. The people who are being affected are the young people with no skills. So when you bring in, like, when the government says you got to do all these benefits for these employees, what happens is they try to look for people with higher skill or, you know, more experience. Like the young people or the kids who are trying to get their feet in the door, they don't get hired. You know what I'm saying? So you end up with a lot of young people without no jobs. They can't find jobs. So they still hire, but they just look for higher criteria, or they try to get the most productivity out of people who they got to pay these benefits to.
I mean, yeah, I mean, every business does that though. So it seems kind of silly to I'm not saying that what you're saying. So I'm saying that the excuses that they're giving, because you're always going to look for productivity. Who looks for low productivity? No one does. Even if the job is low skill, you're going to look for high productivity. So for them to say that we're not hiring because we want high productivity, it's kind of, they're bullshitting us.
No, it's not just that. It's just that they're looking for, like for example, I know in Spain, for example, they have maternity leave, right? They have maternity leave where if your wife is pregnant, you can take it's up to like 6 months off, and then after she had the kid, you get more maternity leave. So now you, I guess they say, oh, you can spend more time with your kid after you're born. So employers have to pay before, when they go on maternity leave before the kid is born, and employers have to pay after, you know, the kid is born. They have to pay if they want to, have time with their kids or whatever. And then the employer has to find somebody to replace the person that's out. And this goes for men and women. So in Spain's problem, they have I was just Googling a lot of the benefits. They have a lot of benefits for these for these employees. And I know
but the thing is, what I'm saying is that these are all good things. You're
for the workers,
for the workers and for the businesses, because people are going to be happier, and if you're happier, you're going to be working more. One of the issues that Spain has is that a lot of their sector, it depends on temporary work, like construction and hospitality. Those have high turnover rates already. So if you have high turnover rates in your entire economy, not entire economy, but like a huge section of your economy depends on an industry that already has high turnover, then what you're going to see is a high turnover rate or a high unemployment.
So then if that's the case, then why is Spain struggling financially? Why are they bringing in thousands of immigrants?
I don't live in Spain, so I don't know what their entire thing is, but I do know that when it comes to Spain's economy, a lot of it depends on volatile economic sectors. So you're gonna always have high turnover rates and high unemployment because of that. So they should probably diversify their sector. And labor regulations is a part of it. Yeah, it is a part
that's another
of it,
thing.
so.
The regulations are, they have a lot of regulations over there too. They have too much regulation. Like all of the European countries, they have sky high unemployment. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I don't think all of them do. I think let me check unemployment.
Not all of them. I think Italy went down. They was at 6, but they went down to 5.6. I think that's still kind of high, but it is starting to come down. But Spain is a problem. Spain is at 10.63.
Yeah, it looks like Finland and Spain are the highest, around 10 and 9%. Sweden is also high. Greece is also high. Across Europe, like it's basically like 6 to 8%. Yeah, I mean, so which is kind of what we have here. Honestly, I think our unemployment rate is like close to 6% already. But like,
no, ours is 4.43.
Ours at 4. Okay, we went down then. That's
good.
It
went down. It went down a point, but.
So that's good. That's good. But what I always say is that we can balance these things out, right? We can balance them between market needs and overregulation, because of course overregulation is going to cause an issue. That was one of the problems in the USSR. Even a lot of Marxists would say that there was a lot of issues in the USSR with bureaucracy, all of the regulations and stuff like that. So that's a thing to talk about. I don't have any issue with that, but I don't think just that is causing the issue. Yeah, I mean, there are other sectors of the economy that has problems, which makes unemployment higher. You see what I mean? Yeah. Now the thing is, what I would the other things that one of the things that I would say, right, is that if we had, especially when it comes to these huge big corporations, if we had more worker basically rights, you know what I mean, worker control over their working environment, you will see a lot of these issues kind of go away, right? Like if the workers could had more unionization, and they knew that someone is pregnant, she's probably gonna go away for a while, you can get people to say, okay, I'll take over her shifts and stuff like that. They can speak and collaborate with each other. This is what, you know, socialism is all about. It's all about, you know, us as a society and as workers speaking to each other in order to fill roles that have shortfalls and stuff like that. But my bad, what you were saying? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, well, like my job, I work at UPS, and UPS literally just not too long ago was able to give their people raises, but and more benefits. But the thing about UPS is that they started like cutting jobs. Like they started cutting a lot of jobs. UPS isn't hiring anymore. And another thing is that UPS, they're starting to automate now. Like we like in a couple buildings, like in Bayonne and other hubs across the country, they're starting to do massive automation because they're like UPS. They're just having trouble with the high demand of the work. And some people, like we have a lot of elderly workers. And guys in their 60s working, guys in their 70s, and they work very, very slow. And these guys are making $40 an hour, $45 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And the UPS doesn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so because they feel that they're not getting enough productivity from these older guys, they can't get rid of them because they're in a union. So UPS just started slashing jobs. They're not even hiring, you know, anybody else no more. I get what you're saying. Like, I get protecting the workers is important, but sometimes I feel when you give them too many benefits and too many, you know, days off, it's bad for the company. You know, like I think there needs to be some kind of balance.
There's always going to be a balance between, you know, the business needs and what's best for the workers. No one wants things out of balance, right? Like we're all gonna need to balance that out. When it comes to UPS, yeah, they're going more towards automation because it's gonna make them more profit. The issue that I see here is more of the profit motive. People are the companies are more worried about making more money instead of giving a better product or service to society. They're all just about, you know, let's just make the most amount of money. Product or service be damned. You know what I'm saying? Now, it just so happens that within a lot of spheres, product and service being good raises your profit. But what's been found out recently is that if you can give a shitty product and people will still buy it simply because of the brand, that you're still going to make profit. Like, for example, Apple. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you own an iPhone, but iPhone users say this all the time. Anytime a new iPhone comes out, the one you have stops working. Yeah, I mean, it's not a great product, but the brand is there. It's the same thing with all the other Google phones. You know what I'm saying? Like Pixel and Razer and all of them. Every time a new one comes out, it stops working. So everybody started doing the same thing, and we still buy them because we need phones. You know what I mean? Like it's an integral part of our lives. Yeah. So the thing is, what I'm trying to say is that at our point in capitalism, companies have found out that you can make shitty products, terrible services, and still get profit. Like it's called like planned obsolescence. You know what I mean? Or in-shitification. You know what I mean? You disrupt the market and then you raise the prices because you're the only choice there that's left. That's what in-shitification is. You know what I'm saying? So what socialism wants to do is basically introduce a system that doesn't do that, where the product and the service is basically what's best for human beings, what's best for society. You see what I'm saying? What's best for society, what's best for human beings. And in that, you would see things like planned obsolescence and things like that go away. Make sense?
Yeah, it does. Well, yeah, it kind of makes sense. But like with CEOs or like Elon Musk, when people say, "Oh, Elon Musk isn't, you know, he's a billionaire, he's not doing his fair share." Like if you're an employer and you're hiring, you know, you're providing a service like that, like you said with the Apple. Apple, he's literally benefiting society. Like everybody uses iPhones. the guy that created Apple, I don't know, Steve Jobs, did he have like millions of employees? Like he hired people.
Yep.
He provided a service to the world.
Yep.
So when people say, oh, guys like Elon Musk and Steve Jobs aren't doing their fair share, I never understood that, because Elon himself, he has hundreds of thousands of employees.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he gives them benefits. He created well, he didn't create, but he does the whole Tesla thing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he has $500 billion,
mm-hmm.
but it's not like it's in like what stock. It's not like, you know, cash that he got laying around somewhere or whatever.
Can he borrow against it?
Kind of yeah. I think he can. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's real. Another thing, when it comes to Tesla, have you ever heard of the working conditions in Tesla? They're not good.
No.
Yeah. Same thing with Amazon. The working conditions in Amazon and Tesla are not good, especially for minority workers. My black workers of Tesla have long since said they've gotten hostility and racism, and he's done nothing about it. As a matter of fact, Elon Musk has basically become a Nazi. So it's yeah. So it's just one of those things. Like, I don't see how Elon having $500 billion benefits the rest of us, especially since he's a Nazi.
Well, I mean, his job is to, I guess, to make a lot of money as possible. I mean, like you said, Elon Musk. Speaking of that scheme, when you say he borrows against it, why won't the government close that loophole? I mean, when Biden was in office, how come he never closed it?
Because he's also paid off. Democrats are paid off. They won't close.
Democrats are paid off.
Yeah, they're paid off. They won't close that loophole either, because they benefit from it.
Okay, but is it just them, or is it like elderly in general? Because I heard the elderly also benefit from that.
What, buy, borrow, die? Yeah, if you own an asset, you can do buy, borrow, die. Like if I like my parents, right? They own their home. My dad has done that before, where he borrowed against his home in order to start a business. But if you know what you're doing, you're gonna be okay. But if you don't, you're gonna be asked out. You see what I'm saying? So buy, borrow, die can benefit some folks if you know what you're doing. But like when it comes to your home, it's not a good idea for us who don't have that type of capital or that type of backup in order to, it's not a good idea for us. But people who are in higher echelon, such as the Bezos and the Elons of the world, they can do that all day and not worry.
Are you against bailing out businesses? Because I am. Because when governments, the problem with the governments, when the governments come in and bail out businesses, that's not capitalism. Capitalism will let the business fail. But the government comes in and they constantly bail out a lot of these businesses. It's the same thing with the banks. Like, I don't think Obama should have bailed out the banks. Like the bank, when Obama, he bailed out the banks and he allowed these executives to write these huge bonuses or whatever. And I think that was a bad idea. You know, some people call it socialism for the top 1%.
It is. It's socialism for the top 1%. I mean, the thing is, when it came to Obama, right? Those were those rock and a hard place places. I don't think when it came to the bank bailouts, I think this was one of those things where essentially the government really didn't have any choice, because if they didn't do it, we would have been at the Great Recession. I mean, not the Great Recession, the Great Depression, worse than the Great Depression. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what happens when these companies become so large and so big that they're so integral into the economy that if they fail, literally unemployment would be 25 to 30%. Like, that's what they were facing at that point. That's what they were facing. You know what I'm saying? So it was one of those things where we didn't have much of a choice. A lot of people would have just, no matter what you are. But what I think should have happened is that they should have gotten the bailout on conditions, and also Americans themselves, regular working Americans, we should have gotten a bailout. You see what I'm saying? Like, if they're going to do a bailout towards the banks, like give them $700 billion, and that's to save the jobs, you need to do those bailouts with conditions, because they give them that money, but then didn't give them any conditions to do it, like hire people back, refill their pensions, et cetera, et cetera. there were no conditions to it. It was just money to keep you going, and they should have put conditions on it. Not just that, they should also have allocated another $300 billion to the American people, like straight to us. You see what I'm saying? I think that would have been better. But where it is what it is, it's 20 years ago. We really can't do anything about it now, right? But I do agree with you that the bailout likely shouldn't have happened, but I understand why it did. Because if it didn't, America wouldn't be America right now. I'll tell you that much. That's how bad the situation was.
Oh, okay. One last thing. I know a lot of Democrats, well, not a lot of Democrats, a lot of progressives, they're for trying to slash the national defense budget. Are you for slashing the defense budget? Because I don't think our defense should be, slashed. I think we kind of, I like, having the strongest military on earth. Like, do you think they should be, the military budget should be cut in half or something?
Let me explain it this way. We can cut half our military budget tomorrow, and we would still have the most powerful nuclear warheads. We will still have more nuclear subs. We would still have more aircraft carriers than any other country combined, cutting it in half. You see what I mean?
Yeah, but so like if you cut the budget, where would the budget cuts come from? Would it come from communications? Would it come from
contracts?
Contracts. Like for weapons?
Yeah, contracts. At this point, I think Raytheon and Lockheed Boeing should be nationalized. They should be they should be the government, part of the government itself. They shouldn't be their own private company, only to causing or encouraging war just for them to make more money. They should be under control of us, of the American people.
Yeah, but the reason why it's so advanced is because of the profit motive, right? Like if the government comes in and sets a set profit for you to make, like for example, most people are productive because they think it's going to give them more money. So like the thing about capitalism, like if you look at the most capitalist countries, the United States, Singapore, South Korea, the Scandinavian countries, the countries are prosperous because there's a profit motive behind. Is a profit motive to it. So the more money you want that you decide to make, it's going to make you be more productive. That's why we're so advanced. Like look at South Korea.
Let me ask you a question. Can you innovate without the profit motive?
You can, but I mean you can. It's like sure. I mean you can, but if a company is saying we'll pay you this much money, I mean, the government says we'll pay you this much money if you make these kind of weapons for us, right? Or if you make this like F-22s cost what, $350 million. If the government says, well, we're paying all the Raytheon employees, you're going to become government officials. You're going to make these Raptors for us, but we're going to cut we're not going to pay you. We're going to cut your salary or in half or something.
Wait, why would they do that? Why would they do that?
So like if the F-22 costs $350 million, these Raytheon contractors.
Wait, hold on. That's what I'm saying to you. Why would they cut their salary in half? Why would they do that?
Oh, they get the same amount of pay like the contractors are being paid, like in the government.
Government employees make some pretty good money. Like a mailman starts off at like $50,000 a year. Government employees still make good money. I mean, so why would they cut their salary in half? They wouldn't need to do that.
So you're saying that these military contractors, they'll just be under the government.
They'll just be under the government. They'll be government workers. Yeah. Yeah, we could cut our budget. We could cut our military budget completely in half. That's what I'm saying. Cut our budget completely in half. Nationalize the defense industry. Make them all part of the government, all government workers, and now it's under the control of the American people. Basically, there's no profit because, like you just said, you can innovate still without the profit motive. What we're doing now happened without the profit motive. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, what we're doing. Were you talking about the Iran war?
No, I'm talking about what we're doing now, talking on the phone. That was done without the profit
yeah,
motive. Yeah. There was no
Yeah.
profit to be made when Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone, right? There was no profit there. There was no profit to, matter of fact, we're speaking over the internet. It was the government that invented the internet. They're the ones who put in the R&D to create the internet. There was no profit in it. We just did it in order to beat the Russians to the moon. And even then, the Russians beat us to space.
Yeah, but we beat them. We wanted to beat them to the moon because we didn't want them to be like, you know, the most
powerful country in the world. We didn't want Marxism.
Yeah, we didn't want them to be the most powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't want Marxism to spread. But like the thing is, that was probably a mistake. Maybe here's what I've always said, right? If socialism doesn't work, how come America always intervenes into countries that try it? Like they always intervene every single time.
Like what countries?
Like Cuba, like Vietnam, like South Korea, like Korea, like Burkina Faso over in Africa.
Well,
they always intervene.
Well, I know in the case of Cuba, did we intervene because of communism, or did we intervene because of, like, I know we intervened in what, the Cold War?
Because of communism. We invaded literally because of communism. The communist revolution. The communist revolution ousted Batista, basically, and because Batista was a puppet of the United States. He wasn't spending the money that Cuba was making on expanding rights for the Cuban people, and he still had slavery. As a matter of fact, it was just slavery under a different name. So the communist revolution basically banned all that, and because of that,
but how come the communist countries, they all seem to fall into authoritarianism? I mean, you got the Democratic People's Republic of Congo. We see North Korea; they call themselves communist, or I think what is it, socialist? And we see how terrible that is. We saw Venezuela under Hugo Chavez. He literally destroyed that country.
There's a lot of context here you're missing. The DRC, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. What happened under Patrice Lumumba is, again, America with the CIA and the French intelligence, they murdered him. Same thing with Burkina Faso under Thomas Sankara, they murdered him. And the reason why they murdered him is because he was doing a socialist experiment. But under that experiment, they saw massive vaccinations, like diseases declined over in those countries. Literacy went up in those countries. Women's representation in government went up in those countries. You know what I'm saying? They were able to lay out a lot of infrastructure, and they nationalized an industry for Burkina Faso and Congo in order to control their own resources. You see what I'm saying? So like all of that was going on in those countries, and the CIA murdered them for it. You know what I'm saying? If socialism is so horrible and bad, why'd you have to kill the leaders in order for it not to happen?
Oh, well, what about Iran?
Iran is the same thing. Back in 1954, they had a democratically elected person in there to lead their country.
Mossadegh?
Huh?
You talking about Mossadegh?
I think his name was Mossadegh, if I'm not mistaken. But it was back in the 1950s. Yeah, it was the same thing. He was going to nationalize his industries. He was also pretty much a socialist. What did they do? Overthrew him. You know what I'm saying? Every single time they try these things, they overthrow him.
Yeah, but I heard the reason why they overthrew him was because they was trying to nationalize it, because they saw that the British was making all this profit, and they wanted 50% of the profit, and the British told them no. It was like whatever they agreed to from before, the government agreed to it, and then once they saw this massive profit coming in, and the British told them no, that's when they tried to take the company back,
exactly, because it's their resource, right?
They tried to nationalize.
Yeah, exactly. How's that a bad thing? It's their resource. It's my shit. Like,
yeah, but you agreed to the
right. But the thing is, I see that you're taking advantage of me. So once I know you're taking advantage of me, I'm gonna take my shit back. What's the problem?
No, it's not taking advantage. If I say, yeah, we're gonna give you 30% of the profits and we're gonna keep the rest, and you say, yeah, that's cool. And then you see all this money coming in, and you say, hey, you need to share some more of that with me. Oh yeah, and I want some shares in your companies. And I tell you no, and then you say, okay, well, I'm gonna take my oil and
I'm gonna nationalize it. Yeah, exactly, because they saw that the profits were benefiting people who are not them. Basically, they saw that it was not benefiting my people. So why would I let these outsiders, these European countries, take advantage of my resource and it's not benefiting my people? I'm gonna take my shit back.
Well, I mean, they didn't have but they didn't have the infrastructure. I mean, they could take it back, but they don't even have the infrastructure.
Right,
I mean, the infrastructure is the British.
Right, they were going to build that infrastructure because that's why they elected that guy, for him, because he had the know-how to build the infrastructure. They were going to start their own company, and they overthrew him because they saw.
Didn't they take the British the infrastructure that was over there? They took that from the British, right?
Yeah, because it was in their country already. They already built it, and they had the workers there already, and they said, all right, we're going to nationalize our resource and kick you out. Same thing that Burkina Faso recently did with France, because France was making all the money from the uranium, and the people in Burkina Faso were not benefiting from it. So the recent president Ibrahim Traoré said that this resource needs to benefit our people, and if it's not, then we're gonna kick you out. We're gonna nationalize our own industry, and that's what he did.
Well, they should have thought about all that before they started making deals with these European countries.
Correct. Agreed. They should have.
Yeah, it's not the Europeans' fault that these people agreed to deals, and then when they start seeing the profits, they're like, oh yeah, you need to give us more.
It's more complicated than that, bro. It's more complicated than that, bro. It's not that way. It's more complicated than that. The thing is, like, the deals were made usually under pressure, because these European countries are more powerful. They have more military might. You know what I mean? They have more control over things. So yeah, they're gonna say, if you don't agree to this, we're gonna take you out. And of course, these weaker governments, they're just gonna agree to it. They're just gonna acquiesce, right? Because they either don't want to be murdered, or they don't want their children to be kidnapped, and they don't want their country to suffer. So yeah, they acquiesce. But when you get someone like Ibrahim Traoré to get in and says that, you know what, I'm going to strengthen my own military, and I'm going to kick you out still, then you're going to get a strong leader to kick them out. That's what happens. Like, what we need to do is take a look at these European countries to see why they're still doing imperialism, instead of looking at the weaker nations asking, oh, why are you letting, the 7'2" bully you, even though you're only 4'11"? Yeah, like he's small,
Well, in Iran, they I know these leftists in Iran, these secularists, they overthrew the Shah of Iran because they said that the Shah of Iran was a puppet of U.S. imperialism, which is fine.
He was.
He was, but the Iranian people still had a better quality of life than they did now. I don't know why they put the Ayatollah there. That was just ridiculous. Right. They put somebody even worse than the Shah.
Right, but they put the Ayatollah there because of what the Shah was doing. The Shah was not only a puppet, he was also torturing people. The Shah was not just this guy who was, just a party boy, you know what I mean, which is what his image was. He was also torturing and murdering people.
Well, yeah, well, when it came to the protest, the reason why the Shah started, a lot of the protesters were killed because a lot of protesters were heavily armed. Like, these were armed Islamists and secularists. Yeah. And so the Shah cracked down harder, and he brought down, harder punishment, much harder punishment.
And why were they armed?
Well, they were armed because they was trying to overthrow the Shah.
No, that wasn't the only reason. They were armed because the Shah was not only the corrupt, but he was disappearing and murdering and kidnapping people and torturing people. That's why they were armed. He was already doing that before they got armed. And he was a puppet of the United States.
Yeah, that's true. But at least the people have freedom. Now they don't got no freedom. Now the women are
freedom
basically
still.
Looking like, no, they don't have freedom in Iran, not the women.
Yeah, they do. Women can be educated in Iran. They can be voted into office. You don't have to wear a hijab in Iran. None of those are necessary.
Yeah, no, they don't have to wear hijabs. They don't have to cover their hair.
No, they don't have to do that in Iran.
Can you leave Islam and become a Christian in Iran?
There are Iranian Christians. Yeah. Are you talking about Saudi Arabia?
But you can't. No, in Iran you can't leave if you're Iranian and you're already a Christian. won't not really happen to you, but you can't leave Islam and become a Christian. You get put to death for that.
No, that's not. I don't think that's a rule in Iran. I think that's Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, that's a law.
Hold
It's Iran too, and the UAE. Yeah, you can't become in Saudi Arabia. You can't become you have to, if you're Arab, you have to be Muslim in Saudi Arabia.
Hold on.
Like you can't.
Yeah, and in Saudi Arabia, if you're Arab, you have to be Muslim. Yeah, I know that part.
Yeah, you could check. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure in Iran you can't leave. They call you an apostate. You get put to death.
Give me a second.
And there's no LGBTQ rights in Iran either.
Oh yeah, because the Muslims are under Sharia. Okay, yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, the Muslims are under Sharia. Okay, yeah.
But under
typically,
the Shah was brutal.
But typically,
the Shah was brutal.
Yeah. Typically, what happens? Give me a second. Muslim-born converts to Christianity are heavily targeted. Okay. Okay. While not explicitly written, conversion from Islam is treated as a capital offense, and penalty is often left to the judge's discretion. Yeah, it's left to the judge's discretion. So yeah, there are apostasy laws in Iran. I would have to see that how what's that thing called again? How enforced it is. But if I don't think it's heavily enforced, because the last research that was done, about 30% of Iranians are not religious at all. Yeah, I mean, so it's one of those things where so it's one of those things where it could be written in or not written, but it could be like something that's kind of like said in the law, but no one really enforces it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So remember that big story where the girl, it was a famous story. She took off her hijab and then she was tortured by Iranian police. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
I heard of that. There were protests over it. Yeah. So Iranians know that their Ayatollah, the current leader sucks. They know that the current Ayatollah sucks. They know that. Yeah. I mean, so it's not that they're not aware of this. Is that in the 1970s, the secularists and the Islamists, they came together in order to overthrow a corrupt person, and the Islamists took over. So it's been like that for the past 40 years. So yeah, I get that, right? Like that these are things that can be combated. Yeah, I mean, so religious fundamentalism and theocracy should be combated, but I don't think that means that, you know, they should fall in line with Western imperialism.
I mean, I'm not saying I think when people hear Western imperialism, it's because do you want democracy in the Middle East? Like more democratic values over
that's up to them. I don't give a shit.
No, but I'm saying because a lot of leftists they push back against like U.S. influence in these areas. Not you don't even necessarily got to use force, just U.S. influence. They're like, oh, the U.S. need to mind their own business.
It does.
We need to stay for us. Yeah, but I thought that liberals are for liberation for all people.
We are, but the thing is, what America does is that they don't simply use their influence in order to influence more freedom, more uplifting of human rights and everything like that. That's not what America uses influence for.
Why don't they do that? They do it through social media.
No, they don't. American influence is always used in order to get more profit and more resources. They never use it to liberate them. Because like over in Haiti, right? The American government has a lot of influence in Haiti. Tons of influence in Haiti. They don't use it to actually uplift the Haitian people. They don't do that.
I think the Haitian people are just they're just a whole nother. Haiti is just it's just that country.
Why is it like that? I don't know about it. Why is it like that though? Because my parents are from there. So why is it like that?
I think it's a bunch of factors. It's government corruption in Haiti. There's maybe U.S. interference, and plus the Haitian people, believe it or not, they tend to have lower IQs on average.
Do you know what country? All right, so I'm Haitian. You think I have a low IQ?
No, not all of them, but I'm just saying,
what controls IQ?
It's not. Huh?
What affects IQ?
It can be genetics. Environmental factors, genetics.
It's primarily affected by your environment and your nutrition, primarily. Do you know how we know that?
I mean, you can see the effects in like pregnant women. Like if they don't get enough, if they're eating poorly with bad nutrition, it affects their kids' the brain development.
Right, and not only that, what we found out is that when you take children from when you take children from these areas that have poor nutrition, and then you move them to an area that has better nutrition, and not only that, you made them read, like you give them literacy earlier, you see that their IQ points are 30 points different from their parents. It's a 30-point difference just by giving them literacy earlier and giving them nutrition earlier. There's a 30-point difference in IQ. That's been studied like over and over again. So IQ is affected by your environment. What exactly made the environment in Haiti the way it is?
Probably interference from the U.S. and their own government corruption.
Correct.
Like Haiti has Haiti. It's not just because people like to blame just the U.S. for Haiti, but it's also the Haitian government. They're also corrupt.
Why is the Haitian government corrupt? What happened?
Greed.
Greed because of why?
More money, more power.
From who?
It can be from multiple different countries. It can be from the U.S. It can
Canada
be from
and France.
Whatever.
The U.S., Canada, and France are always interfering in Haiti. That's the truth of it. Like the Haitian government doesn't actually run Haiti. It's run by 6 families who are basically running like a mafia. This goes deep into it because I know about because I'm Haitian. But like it's ran by some families, and they basically own like 90% of the businesses in Haiti. The businesses in Haiti are actually owned by Haitians. It's owned by other companies. You see what I'm saying? So it's a completely different situation there. When you look at the whole thing with IQs, for example, when we go back to that, what you need to understand is that these IQ tests are never normalized. They never actually look at the adult population who is literate and has nutrition. They never look at those people. Like, for example, one of the IQs in Burkina Faso, or I think Central African Republic, they said that their average IQ is 64 to 65. You know what that test was based on? You know what that test was based on? It was based on 7 children in the rural area who were in the middle of a famine. That's what that test was based on. Do you think that's a fair measurement?
No, it's not.
Exactly. So when people say these African countries have low IQ, you actually have to look at the methodology of how they got that number. And every time you look at the methodology, you see that's bullshit. Like a 65 IQ means that the people there can barely function at a normal human level. That's basically the IQ of a baby, right?
Yeah, well,
are we going to sit here and say
that's true?
Are we going to sit here and say that 30 million people have the IQ close to a baby? That's stupid, right? So obviously these tests are not run well.
But I don't know about that particular country, but like if you take, for example, Somalia and Sudan. Somalia and Sudan, both those countries have very low IQs. And the reason why they have low IQs is due to inbreeding. Like there's a lot of inbreeding in Somalia. There's a lot of inbreeding in Sudan. In Egypt, there's a lot of inbreeding. I think inbreeding contributes a lot to these lower IQs because the U.S. ain't really involved in Sudan and Somalia, and they have civil wars every other year or every other month. There's a civil war, bunch of people dying. Look at Yemen; it's the same way. Yemen, very low IQ, some of the lowest IQ on the planet, have a lot of inbreeding, and there's a lot of starvation in Yemen. So I think people like to bring
inbreeding.
They like to blame us.
Yeah, inbreeding is an issue, but when it comes to imperial issues in Sudan, in Somalia, it's not just the United States that has involved themselves in those areas. The Arab countries have as well, especially the UAE. What's going on in Sudan right now is being funded by the UAE. You see what I'm saying? Inbreeding does happen. Like that is something that happens, and it causes a lot of like genetic issues. Yeah, so that's a part of it as well, right? But the other part of it that we see is issues in those countries, like you said, such as war, such as famine, such as lack of resources. You know what I mean? So environment still plays a huge part of these issues. When like a good example that I would give is that when you see that these whenever you do IQ tests between people, which is much more normalized, where you see their environmental conditions are a lot more equal, then you'll see that the IQ tests kind of normal themselves out. Like, for example, there are times where they did do IQ tests in Africa where they tried to normalize it as much as possible to the IQ test in Europe, right? And what they saw was that it was basically literally almost the same. The average that you would get in Africa will be around 85 to 90, which is what you will see in other countries as well. You see what I'm saying? So it's mostly more about environment than people saying that black people are just stupider or something. It's kind of dumb.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
hey, but I do got another call. We've been on for about 40 minutes, but I appreciate you. All right?
I appreciate you, bro.
Not a problem.
Thanks for taking my call.
No problem. Have a good one. All right, guys. I did get on one last call, but I didn't get to one on time, so I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. 412. I did see you call in, but I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here because, like, I'm tired. I've been on for about 2 hours. Tonight was a slow night, but I still appreciate y'all for coming out. Phone line is now closed. Let me go ahead and get this off the screen. All right, y'all. Phone line is now closed. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I do appreciate all y'all for being here tonight. Let me see. Over on the Black Atheist Coalition, Stabled. I appreciate you, man. I do appreciate you, and thank you so much for keeping the comments going. I'm sorry I didn't see you before. I probably would have hung up earlier if I didn't if I saw your comments before. But Stabled, I appreciate you over there, Stabled. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to this channel. Please subscribe to my channel, Volsy Thoughts. Please subscribe to Deconstruction Junction. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Once again, y'all are amazing out there. If you watch me over on Twitch, I thank you so much. I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. Y'all wonderful. All right, appreciate y'all. All right, y'all. So we're ending the stream on Twitch, and now we're gonna end it on all the YouTubes. As I always end off the night, always be secure, be affectionate, be wise, be flexible, be thoughtful. Everybody should be soft. Every man should be soft. I can't wait to do the anti-red pill